Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Wow, welcome to SOVL. SOVL is a kind of fantasy battle strategy simulator game in which we'll be playing as the skeleton hordes of the dead nations, specifically, as you've seen from the title and thumbnail, the Necromancer. So for anyone not familiar with SOVL, you'll quickly pick it up as I'll in the first part I'll explain some of the game's more base mechanics. For those who are familiar, as we're playing the dead nations, I'll be explaining the very specific abilities and playstyle that we have to use in order to actually render this faction operable. Because we're going to be playing this in such a way that we're going to be using the low order skeleton units a lot. And to do that, you're going to have a very good understanding of what the faction does and how you can leverage its advantages in your favour. So a couple of things to clarify. This is the beta test version of the platform that I'll be playing on. There's something very special that I'll show you in a moment. It's not fully released yet, but it's very cool to see. We'll also be playing specifically on difficulty 5, so I went ahead and unlocked some higher difficulties. This is a crucial one that allows enemy units to rally once broken, so it fundamentally changes a lot of the strategic decision making you'll be having to make throughout the campaign, so this is crucial. But otherwise, that's where we're going to start. So we come to the most important decision we'll be making throughout the entirety of this campaign, the selection of our starting 2 units. Now, ordinarily, what I'll do is I'll take either the bats or the bowmen. The reason being the bats are quite good at some fast moving down the flanks, tactical outflanking of enemies, and the bowmen are just a good ranged option. Well, I say good, they're pretty terrible, but they are a ranged option. But for the sake of this run, and for keeping the theme intact, we're actually going to be taking the skeleton warriors. Our undead legions will march forward in unstoppable fashion. And for the second unit, we will have to take a dedicated kind of fast flanker unit, and I think of those 3, the one that most fits our run that we're actually going to be doing is the skeleton knights. So I think that's a kind of nicely all ties together. So all skeleton units along with their accompanying necromancer. Right, so here's the battle map. Now as we go through, so our objective is to move left to right as we make our way through these stopping points, with the goal of getting to the boss and then moving on to the next act where we'll do the same thing. So we'll quickly go over the legends. So for those who already know, you're already aware, but just for those who haven't seen it before, the crossed swords are battles in which case your army will engage an enemy army in exchange for potentially gaining experience and gold, whereas you may take damage. So you're going to try and get through these, earn as much cash as possible without sustaining losses to your army. The skull, the kind of question mark dice here are random events. Difficult to describe what they are until you see them, but there's a whole bunch of things that could happen. You could encounter a swarm of giants that you have to defeat. Forgotten tomb, you can send your guys in to pull out gold at the risk of death. A holy lake that bestows blessings, stuff like that. So a wide range of fairly interesting stuff. The armories, these anvils, are the equivalent of shops, so that's where you'll buy new units for your army and upgrade the ones you already have. The elite battles, these kind of sword hilts down, are effectively the same as standard battles, but harder in exchange for netting you more gold if you win. So you take those if you're doing well. And then the tents here are campsites. Now they're distinct from battles in that when you go to them you don't get any gold. Of course there's no enemy army to fight. Instead you get an automatic round of healing, and you're gifted the choice between either a point of experience for your units or an additional set of healing. Typically you want to avoid these. The reason being is that if you're doing well, then you want to take as many fights as possible, as that would allow you to generate more gold. So normal gold, you have the more units you can buy and upgrade, the more you can snowball the campaign in your favour. So you only really want to touch campsites if your army's in really dire straits and you need to kind of pick me up to lend yourself a hand, otherwise you want to avoid them. So we can kind of game out our path here right at the start. What our objective is to get to here and take as many fights as possible. So there's 3 down this way, which is nice, but then we get stuck having to take 2 random events and a rest. There's 1 elite. Whereas if we head up here, yes, we'll go through a random event, but then after that we can take, so we can kind of count the non-battles. So 1, we'd have to take 1 there, or you can come up here and take 2, so 2 random events, or here you can go 1, 2, 3. So we would probably prefer this one up here because we get our elite, which is the same, and in fact you could have another one if you're willing to suck up the random event. We'll probably go up here. So I think we'll take this path. And then once we get to here, we can see whether are we in really bad straits. We can either take the random event or the healing if we want a bit of kind of restoration for ourselves. We should be fine either way, honestly. We can kind of just see which one we go. So between these two, there's not much in it, honestly. We can kind of just try one or the other. What I am going to do is specify, so this is the benefit to the new patch we're playing. Units now have fully detailed 3D models for what they represent. So skeleton warriors, skeleton spearmen, skeleton knights, kind of all fleshed out like that, which is very good. So something we're going to do that we wouldn't ordinarily do with armies is we're immediately going to stretch out our skeleton units. So that typically you want them to be, if I was playing a normal faction, I'd probably just play it like this. The reason being is that these units only get to fight in 2 ranks, so the first 2 ranks get to fight the 3rd rank. Spearmen are special, where if they don't charge, they actually get to fight in 3. But even so, having 3 back there isn't that useful. We're doing this because of the Necromancer's specific ability, Raise Dead. I'll kind of go over how the mechanic's going to work for a moment. We can't stretch those out anymore, so we'll leave those as they are for now. We'll just go into our first battle, which is this one, I suppose, against Goblin Raiders. So there's a roll of dice at the top there. They're going first. Fine, not a concern for us. So you come to this stage. We can, if you zoom in, you can kind of see your guys, and then when you zoom out, you can kind of get a good view of the actual unit, so you're not going to get confused. Okay, so for our deployment, what we're going to do is we're going to put our fastest unit in the center. The reason we're doing that is because the enemy is likely to have something fast of their own on the flanks that's going to come barreling its way down here. So in case they do, having our fast unit in the centre means when they come forward to hit one of these units, we can put ourselves in the middle and effectively outflank them. I'll demonstrate what I mean in a moment. So I'll put these a little bit back so that they have to be drawn in closer, and that should do. Ready? Confirm. Okay, so there's no outflanking unit, but they do have a unit of archers we'll have to contend with. That's fine. Same principle in the end. They're going to move forward and shoot us immediately and do a wound. We've got 2 wounds each, so we're okay. So there's a couple of things we can do about that. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to immediately go to my Necromancer. So there are 2 abilities that are crucial to the playthrough. Both of these are fantastic. The first one I'm going to use is Unholy Vigor. Increase the movement speed of a targeted reanimated unit. The undead units are reanimated unit. You can see it specified down there in the bottom left. You just make them faster. Until, crucially, this has caught me off guard. I think this has changed since last time I played. Until its next combat phase. So when I improve the movement on the Skeleton Knights, their movement will stay improved until I just get to the point where I get stuck in combat. So that's good. So, and then because they're all the way over here, I'm just going to have you march forward and start getting over here to these goblin mobs. Okay, so what's going to happen is they're going to come forward. That's fine. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to wait. I'm going to put these skeleton warriors forward. So now I know where they are. So there's 2 keys in this game that you want to use that are absolutely crucial. The XC, which is this, and the C key. So what these effectively do is it shows the charge range of your units, which is great. So you can see if any of my units were within this blue field of the enemy at the end of this phase, in the upcoming charge phase, they would be able to declare a charge against me. So if you don't want to be charged and engage combat, then just stay away from them. Simultaneously, this is our units. So the benefit of the spell, the Unholy Vigor that we just placed on knights, 1 is that they move faster, and 2, your charge range is dictated by your movement range. So because I've increased their their movement range, their charge range has subsequently also increased. So now they have a colossal charge range where they can reach anything they want. Specifically, however, I'm going to have them reach these annoying goblin shortbows in the back. So I want to deal with them as quickly. I don't want them constantly firing volleys into me. It's quite annoying. What I'm also going to do, so there's a couple of things you need to make sure when you're doing charges. 1, don't be in the enemy's charge range. 2, make sure you can draw line of sight to the enemy. So there's a bit of difficult terrain near a forest. You can see into forest, but you can't see beyond it if you're on the other side. So you see my blue here stops there. But the good news is I can kind of see them on the edge here, so I can definitely draw line of sight to them. Now the reason I positioned myself all the way over here while that extra movement was crucial is because all units have facings. They have a front, 2 flanks, and a rear. If you hover over them, yours or the enemy's, then you can see them. If the majority of your unit is within a certain facing, when you declare a charge against that unit, you will charge into that facing. So we've managed to get all the way over here. The majority of our skeletons here are clearly on the left side of that line, so it's the majority side arc will be charging their flank, which is perfect. Well, it's definitely outside their range, so that's perfect. Done. There's no combat, so we'll skip that phase. We'll go straight back around to the charge phase. Okay, so they can't reach us, so they don't have any charges, but I can, in fact, I can go into the goblin mob, which we won't do. Rather, we're going to go into the side of these archers. No other charges, so we'll confirm. Perfect. So these goblins are coming towards us, that's no problem. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get myself ready. I'm not going to charge them yet, I'm just going to get ready for it in the subsequent turn. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to stall and I'm going to use Unholy Vigor on this unit, as it may allow me to outposition this goblin mob. So this unit is now also quite fast. So because I'm faster, what I can do, I'm not going to be fast enough to get around them entirely, but I can step an inch away and then turn. I've now got better movement than them, therefore I outrange them, so I can do my charge and they can't do theirs, which is just a flat benefit for me. So there you go, I'll just beat them straight up in that regard, which is good. That's all our units. We'll now go back to the Skeleton Knights. Okay, so we have our first round of combat. That's how this works. So the entire game is dictated by the roll of a 6-sided dice. So in this case, when you fight an enemy unit, it will compare. You have to first do a hit roll, in which case it will compare your skill versus the enemy's skill. In the event skill is equal, which it is here, 3 against 3, you have to roll 4 plus to hit. 4 plus meaning any result of a 4, 5, or 6 on a 6-sided dice are a success. So this effectively simulates that the skill of these two enemy combatants here are equal. You have a 50-50 chance of hitting. We have 5 Skeleton Knights, one of which is wounded, but it doesn't decrease his combat effectiveness. He's still fine. So they have 2 attacks each, and there's 5 of them for us, 10 attacks in total. We have equal skill, so it's 10 attacks hitting on 4 plus, so let's roll to hit. We get 6 hits, great. Okay, now I'm going to stop there for a second. I'm going to let it roll. I can't immediately stop it. Right, so what happened after that? We got our 6 hits. The enemy then made a saving throw. That's determined by comparing the power of your unit against the defense of the enemy unit. Now in this case, we have a base power of 3, and because we charged and we have hand weapons, so we have a charge bonus plus 1 power. So we went up to power 4. So it's power 4 against a defense of 2. Now the way this calculation works is, if the power is greater than the enemy defense, the enemy can only save the roll on a 5 or 6, meaning only a 5 or 6 will allow them to save the incoming hit. A 1, 2, 3, 4 or fail. So they rolled 1, 1, 1, 3. Those are all fails. 4 goblins died. They rolled 2 5s, those are successes, they passed. You can see that's what you need to succeed, and that's what they rolled. If power was 3 or more greater than defense, so if we had 5 power, that would again decrease the saving row all the way down to 6 plus, so only 6s would succeed, so even these 5s wouldn't count, but they find this guy. So it basically simulates the higher the power is relative to defense, the harder it is to make a save. Okay, so after we did that, the enemy then hit us back. Now, one of the big benefits to charging something in the side is that they don't get to fight you with all of their attacks. So all of these that would have got attacks in the front instead denied. Rather, we were attacked only by these 2 in the rear. So they have 1 attack each, so 1, 2. That's the 2 attacks. We have equal skill again, so they hit on 4 plus, so the 5 hits and the 2 misses. They've hit me, I then get to roll my save. Now for the save, again, it's power versus defense. They're only power 3 against my defense of 5. So my defense is superior to their power, which means I save on a 3 plus, so a 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all good. I only fail on a 1 or a 2. I roll a 4, I'm good. So we win combat by a lot. After you win combat, the enemy has to roll a break test, which is effectively their discipline minus how much they lost by. They lost by a lot, so they're just going to pack it in. I can send them into the back. I'm going to hold off for a moment. The reason being, it benefits me just to kind of stand here and not care, because it gives them a chance to roll. In order to return to combat, they have to try and rally. Goblins have dismal discipline, so likely if I leave them, they'll just leave of their own accord. So I'm going to skip charges. They're going to inch towards me here. I'm just going to stall here a bit. I don't particularly feel like engaging with these skeleton spearmen yet. We will do eventually, but not right now. But what I'm also going to do... Okay, so here's one of the very, very important mechanics of the other spell, Raise Dead. The Necromancer can raise armies and skeletons and zombies, or so you can see that zombie, skeleton, warriors, spearmen, or archers. So effectively all our units save the night. This is crucial. There's something you can do that's quite fancy. So we came in with our full size of units. We had 15 skeleton warriors and 14 spearmen and the thing. If you use this, however, you can use it on a unit that is already at its maximum size, and it will give you even more beyond that. So I had 15, I rolled a 1, so D3, effectively the way the spell works is you roll around a dice, it'll become 1, 2, or 3, and then add 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4, I got 4 extra skeleton warriors, so we're going to put them in. They foolishly turned around to try and engage my poor skeleton knights, but that's given me a free rear charge, effectively. These goblins have rallied, so I'm going to have to do something about that, of course. I'm going to just move up here and put them into the back. Makes it very easy for me. Done. So goblins are uniquely... These skeleton warriors are kind of really low tier units, where against almost any other force I'd say I was outclassed, but goblins are one of the few things that are equally bad as us. Even still, they're actually slightly better because they have better skill, but it's close enough such that if I hit them in the back, they're not going to be able to stop me. Okay, now this unit's coming towards me. I'm now going to be happy to turn and take this charge. I'm going to let them hit me, because I'm going to raise dead on myself, have a whole bunch of extra. I've rolled 1 again, which is unfortunate. The reason I'm going to accept this charge, I'll go over what the spears do in a moment. Here's our attack. So we have the extra ranks stretched out here, allow us 12 guys with 1 attack each, so 12 attacks. We have equal skill, so 4s to hit. We get 6 hits, perfectly average, and then we have superior power to the enemy's defense, so they save on 5+. We kill 5 of them. Because we hit them in the rear, they don't get to attack back at all. They just have to run away. They make a terrible break test and run away. Same principle here. 4 hits, kill another 4. They can't do anything back, so once you rear charge an enemy unit, that's terrible discipline. Can't roll a 1 on 2 dice. They're effectively guaranteed to flee. It's quite easy. Okay, so the goblin mob here is going to charge us. I am not going to declare a charge and hit them back. The reason being is, unlike these other units that benefit from charging because they get +1 power, spearmen are unique in that their ability here, you can see, it's +1 defense permanently, and then you get an extra rank's worth of attacks when not charging. So because I'm not charging, I get effectively 18 guys hitting into this goblin mob, so I'm just going to stand there and take it. The goblin archers here have failed their rally test, so they're just going to flee off the board, so I needn't care about them. So what I can do instead is bring my knights down here to hit them in the back. And this goblin was also run. Goblins aren't really known for their bravery, let's be honest, so I'm going to move this unit forward because I think that they'll have an opportunity to have another test in a moment, so I want to stay on them. Otherwise, there's not much to do. We've used our 2 razors here, so just speed something up in case it becomes useful like that unit. Here we go. So it's goblin mob into our spearmen. So my necromancer gets to go first. Isolde, the ancient, is going to hit. So necromancer is not exactly known for their combat prowess. It's not what she's here for. So 2 attacks, hitting on 4s, no hits. Fair enough. We don't expect to do much. The goblin mob's now going to hit us. Now, amazingly, unlike most other units in the game, the goblin mob has better skill than us. We have a terrible skill of 2. So they hit us 7 of 10 times. They also, because they charge, they have better power. So they went from power 3 to 4. 4 is over my 3, and that means I save on 5+. I take 5 casualties, fine. Hitting back, I get a lot of attacks, 17. I hit on 4s, 10 hits, and then my power is equal to theirs, so they save on 3s. I actually won, despite the fact they charged me. They do hold on, though, so they'll be able to do a little bit more damage to me now, which is a bit annoying. Yeah, this is it. So this is now 1 combat. I could just put them into the back, because there's no way they're going to hold up to that, so yeah, why not? There's nothing to do, so we skip straight here. Isolde still doesn't hit anything. The goblins in this again, but we have a better save this time because their power's dropped to be equal to our defense. So we lose 3 more. We get our attacks back, hit 6 times, kill another 2, and then the knights hit them in the back, which is probably enough to, yeah, just masticate the unit. You could, in theory, roll a double 1. When you surround an enemy like this from both sides, when they fail a break test, they don't run away, they get completely destroyed. That effectively simulates they've been trapped and slaughtered by an enemy units on both sides that can't escape. And they've broken. We've now broken or destroyed all enemy units, so the fight is over. Okay, at the end of a combat this will happen, so you generate some XP for your guys, and you get a bit of healing on the ones who are injured. Now you then have a choice, you can either rest and heal your guys, or take gold. So when they're full HP, it's rather obvious you just take the gold. For this unit of skeleton spears, I'm going to hold off and not heal them, despite the fact it would be a good heal, because I get the max value out of it. But I can simply use reanimate dead on the unit myself just to increase it beyond its 12 to get the size back anyway. So we're just going to take as much gold as we possibly can early in the campaign. So yeah, we've shrank the unit, but we can just put those back in the fight. We have this random event which allows us to buy things. I don't particularly want any, I mean, the unearthed catapult would be within our army's kind of remit, but I don't want artillery this run. It's not really what the run's for, so we'll leave that on the table and just move on. Up against another enemy unit of undead. Interesting. We're going first, that's fine. So the way, we haven't get to see it yet, but the way undead work is they don't flee from combat. They don't, not particularly scared skeletons, you can't scare them off, so instead what ends up happening is you get stuck in kind of these long brawls. So we have to kind of be clever and outposition the enemy here, and okay, they've all deployed down this side, which is fine, we'll have to do something about that. I'm going first, okay. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to put Unholy Vigor on the Skeleton Knights, because I'm going to need them to be fast to get around here in a moment. We'll see what happens. And otherwise you could just stand there, because we need to lure them in. Perfect, they've done what I wanted them to. Okay, we'll buy time by sending these Skeleton Warriors around. So We now know where they're going to land. So what I want to do, of course, is again, let's get my skeleton knights over here. There. I can see the dire wolves. I can't be charged by anything. I'm clearly in the side arc. It's the entirety of my units there, so they've set up a perfect side charge for me. Excellent. It's my turn. I get to charge first, so charge. Confirm. Should be enough to handle that pretty easily. Yeah, I was afraid of that. They've gone what is in essence the best way to stop me, so what I'm going to have to do is Unholy Vigor this unit so I can get up there to stop them from recharging my poor knights. So I now have the movement to get up there. So again, it depends on who charges first. They might just hit my knights in the back anyway, despite what I try and do here, but it's worth a try. Forward they come. Skeleton Warriors should, in theory, just defeat a unit of zombies. But I'm going to wait till I can obviously stack the deck in my favour by using spells to help me when I buy a little time. So here we go. So equal skill to equal skill, 10 attack, 6 and 4s. 4 hits, and then it's superior power to defense, so we kill 3 dire wolves immediately. They don't hit back at all because there's only one dog hitting me twice. They don't roll a test, they run straight off the field. Excellent. Their turn, they're going to charge them in the back. So the way this works is that you can only intercept an enemy unit from the front if your unit is closer to them than they are. Our unit, obviously, just we're not closer, so we can't stop them. So they're going to get that charge no matter what I do. There you go. Okay, so what else we can do is we can start moving this up. I'm getting stuck on this little bit of terrain here. The objective here, I suppose, is to get through. I might even be able to get through and do a rear charge on them. Yep, that's majority rear, so I can put them into the back. It's the benefit of our action movement there. And we can start considering our raised dead ability. So do we want to use it on here or do we want to use it on here? We're going to use it over here first. Because having these extra guys will help us win that even more soundly than we otherwise would. I can't avoid combat this turn, so we're just going to take it. The zombie's going up to power... I would like to deny them the charge, because obviously it would improve our odds of survival, but we should just win anyway, so it's not that big a deal. So we're going to take some hits here. We can't stop it. Yeah, they hit us a bunch. Our defense is still good, though. They're still, even with the charge, they're weaker than us, so hopefully not too much damage. 2 wounds, fine. Now, when an undead unit loses combat, we don't run away. Rather, we roll a crumble. So effectively, rather than running away, we just lose 1 to 3 extra wounds. So I lose 2 more wounds, so I lose an extra knight. Turn around and face. Okay, so they're going to charge me. I'm going to charge them. And because they're stuck here, I'm going to put myself in their back. Like so. Okay, so we've got one more use of Raised Dead. I'm going to leave it for a moment because I want to see how much damage I take on these Skeleton Warriors. Remember, the starting unit size was 15. So we've got 5 extra wounds here. That won't count to us losing any actual casualties. So, and then obviously I could benefit from the extra attacks if I went straight here. How much faith do we have that we can prevail in this in one round? We've got 1, 2, 3, we've got 18 attacks against 10. Equal skill. I have superior power and equal defense. I mean, I should just crush them and win. It's a question of I'm gonna hold on to it and just see how it goes, whether or not I need to reinforce another unit. So SOVL gets to hit first, hits twice, excellent, and smashes 2 skeletons with her staff. Excellent work. They hit my units again. Again, we've got pretty good armor, so yeah, we just lose 1 more. Lots of hits from the knights. Excellent work. They smash another 2. And then the spearmen. Now, I don't get the benefit of the 3rd rank because they charged, but it's only 1 guy, so never mind. Not a great hit roll, but a little bit more damage is appreciated, so we win. So the enemy's now going to crumble some guys. An extra 3. 1, 2, 3. Most of that unit cleaned up. And over here, they hit my warriors 3 times. They're only zombies are in the running, I think, for the worst statistical unit in the game, where they basically don't do anything. They do no casualty to my zombies. I hit back. Hit 5 times. Killing 3. So we win, and they'll just crumble some. Another 2. Great, we're a 1/3 of the way there. Not much for me to do. We're all stuck in these tar pit combats, so I'm just going to have to decide. I'm fairly convinced now that these zombies aren't going to be able to hack their way through 5 wounds worth of warriors, so I'm just going to use the Raised Dead here to give myself more attacks to cut through this faster. So we have 17 skeletons to remember now. That'll be important for later. Bear in mind the number. So we started at... what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we started at 12 and went up to 17. So there we killed 1. Okay, alright, we had a fantastic save from the Skeleton Knights. We only lost a single wound. Yeah, more attacks here is good. Okay, we've basically wiped the unit. They have to crumble at least one, so yeah, gone. So unfortunately, I can't heal the Skeleton Knights, but they're just going to have to suck it up. Okay, here we lose 2 Skeleton Warriors, and we kill a whole load of zombies back. Crumble another 3, and that's it. The enemy have given up. So we had 18 Skeleton Warriors and 18 Skeleton Spears there because of Raised Dead. However, you'll notice that we've gone back down to 12 and 15. The game won't allow you to raise the dead into the next fight. You get them for that fight, but it won't fix this number. You're still going to come out the fight at the starting value you came in on. So it's a slight way to balance the raise. Otherwise, it would be, frankly, it would be a bit too strong, wouldn't it? So we could move ourselves up to skill 3. Honestly, they're just having it skill 3. We could do it later. I'd rather take the gold for now, because we need to generate as much gold as possible early on when we can, and they're perfectly healthy. Knights leveled. They're the exception. They're a unit I actually want to do some heavy lifting for us. They're going to be like the primary damage dealer, so I'm going to take the skill for them to make them skill 4, and I'm going to heal them. So maxed out on 5, which is good news for us. Skeleton Spears, again, we'll just take the cash, because we don't care about the downed unit. We come to our first armory, or shop if you will. Here are our units. Okay, so we can immediately buy another unit of Skeleton Knights, which I think we will be doing. Let's have a quick peek at other things we can do. Yeah, okay, so we have a crucial spell hit, Reanimate. So restore another healing spell for our Necromancer, restore D3+1 units to reanimated units. Crucial distinction between that and Raised Dead is that it's all reanimated units, which means it works even on our Skeleton Knights. So we'll be raising the dead everywhere. So it's 245 for these, and 35 for those, for a total of 280, which we can afford. The only other thing to consider is we might take the direwolves instead. I can't reanimate them. They're not really part of the theme of the list, so nah. I mean, you could take the skeletons instead. The bowmen are so terrible, so I'll just go with the... Well, you say that. They're more... The hordes of skeletons perhaps more thematic. Having a bunch of knights is maybe a bit too easy, let's say. So I can make it harder for myself and take the bowmen and a whole load of upgrades. I think I will. This is definitely the suboptimal way to play. You'd probably go with the knights, but I'm going to make it more challenging for myself and take the bowmen. So we'll go bowmen. We'll take the reanimate spell, of course, because we can still use it on our already existing unit of knights, and we've got some cash left over for upgrades. We're immediately going to buy the lance and shield for our knights because it's just a flat upgrade on our current weapon. So currently they're armed with hand weapon and shield, +1 defense, +1 power when charging. Whereas, however, if you look at the lance and shield, +1 defense, +2 power when charging. It's just extra power on top of what you've already got. We have 75 left, in which case we could probably consider... you could buy a hand weapon and shield for the archers in case you want them to engage in combat. I'm not sure why you would want to do that, but you could make them power 4 on the charge and defense 3, turn them into a kind of standard melee unit. It's not a terrible idea, it gives them a bit of versatility. The banners are, we could still pick, yeah, let's do it. So we'll give them a weapon so they can fight. We have 50 gold left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the Banner of Swiftness to improve the movement of my knights, because getting them where I need them to be is pretty crucial. Okay, so that's what our army looks like now. Still the wide stretches of skeletons, as well as a couple new bowmen. Okay, we'll go into an elite battle now, so we're going to test our new units in a rather challenging fight here. Against Korgak. Okay, so they're going first, which is good, because I like to see where they move, so it makes it easy for me to outposition them. I'll put you on the extreme flank here, because the bowmen are just going to kind of mill around and pick away at guys with shooting. Again, they'll presumably have some sort of fast unit on the flanks that we want to tempt into running at us, so if I just do this, this, and this, they won't target that. They'll come down here for something, and then I can hit them in the side. There's the fast unit, so the Bull Riders. Oh, there's also a Giant we'll have to contend with as well. That's going to be difficult, so let's... how fast is the Giant? It won't get to me in one turn, which is good, so we have to deal with these first. Okay, so I'll stall. What I'll do is I'll start vigoring my knights so they can get onto whatever I need to go to, and you can just stay there. They're effectively delaying me by using these less consequential units. Here comes the Giant. It won't reach me yet, which is good. So what I'll do is I can't get across, but I can start getting myself ready to sort of get around it later and start chipping away wounds. So Skeleton Bowmen have dismal accuracy and the Giant has amazing defense, so it's going to take a long time to do any meaningful damage there, I'm afraid. Before these come, which is fine by me because I can just do this. Into the flank they go. So they've charged us. Now the other benefit to charging an enemy unit in the flank is that when you do so, it counts as an intercept charge. So they've declared a charge on us, which is annoying. However, if I do this, I intercept and I kill their charge. You cannot perform a charge when an enemy unit is charging in the flank or rear. So that's why I was perfectly happy to leave this unit here, because I knew this was going to be set up and they can't do anything about it. Everything else is safe, so we'll just confirm. In we go. Forward they come. We're not particularly concerned about that. What I am going to do is I'm going to use this unit first, and I'm going to specifically Unholy Vigor the Bowman, because I know I'm going to need the extra movement to get away from this giant. I'm also going to then immediately move myself over here as far as I can, because I don't want to accidentally lure this unit into hitting my knights in the back. I want them to come straight forward. So I'll be out of their range, and hopefully they do take the bait and don't rear charge my guys here. Perfect, they did exactly what I wanted them to. Otherwise, we'll start moving you this way to get away from the big scary giant. I don't want it to hit us. It's going to go for the bowman, but because they're now so fast, Unholy Vigor allows me to escape the giant. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to shoot them, and then I'm going to move them. Yep, we need them to roll ones. Even if they roll double two, they're still fine. There you go, I've gotten outside the giant's range there. Perfect. Here's the combat. Now we've upgraded our skill from 3 to 4, so we now have superior skill to the enemy. So we hit on 3s. We hit 8 times, fantastic. And we've also upgraded our power because of the lances, which was pretty crucial here because power 5 met the enemy's defensive 5, so they were on 4s. So those 3s would have been saves if we still had the hand weapon and shield, so that's good. The enemy hit us back with 2 attacks, they hit both times, and they did 1 wound, which is fine. That should be enough to still break them. It is, yep. Pretty poor discipline, the orcs, as far as they go, so that was pretty easy. We did take a wound, but we now have a remedy for that. No charges now. Well, this unit comes, they've effectively given my skeleton warriors here a free size charge. I'm not going to turn it down. In fact, what I might do if I'm clever is if I can Unholy Vigor this unit, I might be able to get it into their back. Worth a try. Do you think so? I don't think I'd quite have the movement for it anyway, because we get to here, and we'd have 3 more points of movement. Maybe. I think it's worth a try. Our last use of Unholy Vigor. Unholy Vigor will persist on these bowmen until they get locked in combat, so they're always going to be moving around nice and fast, which is great news for me. Here, we're just going to have you stand and fight, because you're going to get approached by probably that unit, so just stand here and wait. Yeah, they're going to come towards you, which is fine. They can hit you. I can put these knights into the back of that big warrior unit. Yeah, that's a rear charge. In fact, I might just leave these skeletons to it to get hit by both sides and double flank this unit. See how I feel. Giant's going to turn and never ever catch me because I could just get around him the whole time. No wounds. Yep. I'm going to be honest, you may have already pieced it together. I have no intention of ever engaging this giant in combat. It's way too strong. And here, can I get to the back of this unit now with my extra movements? So we come up here. So I obviously can't see them, so I need to twist a bit. So I can now see them, and if we look at the backup, no, that wasn't quite good enough, I'm afraid. So 2 side charges is fine. We could probably get in there and do enough damage to show them what for anyway. Can I do that any better, do you think? If I just... I can't see them at all if I do that, so I've got to twist more. Okay, I can see them there. But it's not going to be... No, you'll never get what you want, I'm afraid. So accept your side charge. So they're going to charge me there. I could put them into the back and stop them, or I could surround this scarier unit of the big fellas and just get rid of them quickly. I think I'm going to do that, and then what I can do is I can use Raise Dead on this unit twice to just keep healing them, and I don't have to be particularly concerned about how many casualties I sustain. So I'm going to kill this unit first as fast as I can, and then round and kill this unit. We're not going to charge because we get more attacks with the spearmen if we just stand there, so just stand there. Okay, their units has used the Warcry ability, it's him, so it's increased all their power, which is not really going to matter because they had power. It's slightly relevant for the defense here, but otherwise they had more power than my defense everywhere anyway, so don't worry about it. Here we're going to immediately start raising dead because we're going to need the extra attacks and we're going to lose a lot of guys. Good, high roll, lots of scaly spears to hold them. That's annoying. I might have to sacrifice this unit of bowmen and rear charge this giant to hold it in place. I'm going to shoot him again. We're going to do nothing. Yeah, so if I rear charge him, I can at least stop him from charging my guys, which I think is what we're going to have to do at this point. Okay, so we're extremely hopeful here that we can collapse and kill this unit. So here we go. Izodal's going to hit the Orc Warriors once and kill one. Excellent. Okay, the Orc Warriors are now going to hit me 5 times. And yeah, because the power here did matter. So their base power is 4. They go up to 5 from the charge because of the shield, and then Warcry has granted them all +1 power to up to 6. So 6 against my defense of 3 is 3 or more greater. So my save is reduced all the way down to 6+, when I only pass saves on a roll of a 6. So none of them. Ouch. My attack's back. I get quite a few attacks. I kill a couple more. They just win, which is unfortunate, so I now have to crumble a few more guys. If I had one more wound there, I wouldn't have to lose the wounds. Oh well. Okay, so this is their Lord Korgax hitting my Skeleton Knights and kills one. That's irritating. But we still get all of our attacks back. Killing 4 of the brutes and meat. 5 of the brutes, in fact. That's very impressive. And we save that one as well. And then over here, the Skeleton Warriors hit them. 6 hits, killing another one. And they just take 2 hits. Okay, would have been better off not putting them in, honestly. They break, and because they broke, they collapse, which is perfect for me. So they're going to side charge my knights. No, I'm just not going to let you do that, I'm afraid. No other charges, because I can't reach them there. Sorry, bowman, but you're just going to have to suck it up. We're now going to round on this unit as we plan to. Into the side, into the rear. And then here again, we'll go ahead and start raising dead. Grant me some guys back. Kills another one, excellent work. Now their power is going to be considerably less than it was last time, so I saved on 5s, I saved 3. I hit perfectly average number of times. And we tied, excellent, I don't take any damage to crumble, because we drew. And here, I don't expect the bowman to do a whole lot, I'll be honest. They do 2 wounds, not bad. But the giant is fearless and discipline 9, so it basically never runs away. Yeah, now it's going to turn around and start bashing my poor bowman's heads in. Sorry, you were somewhat sacrificed there, but it's for a good cause, I assure you. So in you go, in you go. Okay, so while we have the time, we're going to start reanimating my skeleton knights. Back up to 5 strength. It's crucial you do that in the fight, because if you do it, then they'll be still treated as 5, and you won't have lost any for the end of fight resolution when you decide whether or not you take healing or gold. So back up to a full healthy unit of 5 now. Yeah, we're going to get our spearmen pretty hammered here, I'm afraid. They do great back, and then we should just win by sheer number of dice. Yeah. They break, they collapse, and they rout this turn. Annoyingly, I didn't want them to rout this turn, because then I could use another heal, but it means I'll lose less skeleton bowmen, so that's something. They only lose 3 instead of however many more he would have killed. 4 because of crumble, fair enough. And we've won. So the skeleton spearmen do need a bit of help now, they've taken a bit too many casualties. Okay, so we have some levels, so our Necromancer is leveled. Interesting, so greater reanimate. So reanimate also gives +1 power and defense, so it makes that reanimate spell even better. So yeah, I think I'll take that. Just more undead skeletons rising from the ground. And her accompanying unit of spearmen is leveled. We don't really need extra size at this point, so I think I'll just take the extra gold, because we'll be using that more often than not. So you're full HP. These are all perfectly viable at their size, and I'm going to take 1 round of healing here. Good, that's now a usable unit again. Okay, and if we kind of think about which way we want to go now, so down this way we get a random event, and then an elite, a fight, and then this is the same, or we can go fight, fight, fight. So are you willing to exchange one fight for 1 random event, and then more difficulty but for more gold here? I suppose it really depends on what we would get out of that random event. So it's going to be, it all depends on what that is. So I think I'll go this way, because getting to the, you'll lose 1 point of XP effectively for your units, which is unfortunate, but you'll probably get as much gold for this as you would out of the 2 fights anyway. And this could be something quite good, so yeah, I'm willing to risk it. Holy gift. This is a holy place. Your soldiers can ask for a blessing. Okay, so we're about to have some holy skeletons running around. So this is probably one of the best ones. It was a good decision coming down here. What this means, you'll select any one unit, and this unit can effectively re-roll all of its saves forever. Now, of those, which would you want to do it on? Probably the Skeleton Knights. They're the most important thing there. It's the same for all of them. You just get re-roll damage save. So whenever you would take a damage, if you fail your damage save, you then get to roll it again to try and pass. So massive durability increase. Ordinarily, you just put it on your best unit and just make them even better. What I'm considering instead, however, is putting it on one of the Skeleton Spears or Warriors, just to make them an even better tar pit. It's kind of a bit moot, because it's not gonna... They get like 5 or 6 plus saves, so you get a few extra saves. It's not really gonna matter a lot. So I think I will just go with the Old Faithful and just put it on the Skeleton Knights. Holy Skeleton Knights have entered the field. There you are. I have Divine Protection. Okay, so that will go into an Elite. Against Von Platen, so a human elite. So I'm going first, okay. Now there'll be a ranged unit, a unit of cavalry, and 2 bricks and infantry we'll have to contend with, so probably putting these somewhere in the centre to catch them would be a good idea. And then these here to kind of hold space and see what they need to do. Okay, so they're going to come barreling down towards them, so I can hit them in the side, which is good. They're just going first, which is fine. Or probably they'll march forward and shoot me. That's not really a big a deal, so we'll just start chipping wounds off of these. 2 dead halberdiers, very good. You kind of see what they look like here. So swordsmen and their captain, halberdiers with their helmets there, unit of handgunners, and the unit of Imperial Knights. Very fancy. My boys. Forward they come. Okay, so kind of think about it. What I can do immediately is put Unholy Vigor on this, because I want the extra speed. And then you could just stand... Well, they'll come forward. I'll intercept them into the side. So I guess I should start moving this way. I don't want to move too far forward, because what will end up happening is they'll stop short. If you, the area will always move the minimum distance it needs to get itself into charge range. So if I just did this, they would only move to about there, which would make flanking them like a nightmare. So you don't want to stick yourself too far forward. Just a little bit to give me some kind of edge when it comes to the next turns here. Save them, and no, just wait. I guess they're going to come forward and shoot you no matter what you do, I'm afraid. No, they didn't manage it somehow. Okay, so they're going to come forward, so what we can do, I'm just going to move myself, if I just scrape my way into the terrain. So the way terrain works is as long as you're touching it, you can kind of see past it, so there I can see through it now and shoot what I need to. So I'm pretty sure they won't, well, they'll probably be able to see me there, which is a bit annoying. So let's just tow my way in, and that should be enough to catch them wherever they wind up there. So they came far too far forward, which made it really easy for me to intercept them. Piece of cake. First, don't mind if I do. And the charge. Okay, they've done the brilliant thing for me. They've gone the wrong way. They're not going to hit them in the back, so fine by me. Let's go ahead and start getting ourselves ready. This should be a relatively straightforward battle for them. I'm not going to be able to shoot anything here because they're just sort of stuck. Oh, I can thread a shot through the halberdiers. They ignore me and run. So for others, they're going to shoot me again. I really don't care. Spells. Now I think, as you recall, we got Greater Reanimate. So it heals wounds as normal, but it also does something else quite important. It gives me +1 power and defense. So currently my power is 3. I'll go up to 5 because Lance and Shield add 2, and the enemy has a defense of 5. So if I give myself an extra power, it'll mean that I can wound them easier, and then I'll go to defense 6, which against their power 3 means they have an even to odd enemy. So it's weird because I haven't sustained any damage, but I'm going to use Greater Reanimate to improve my stats. So you have 4, 5, so it'll make it a lot easier to break and get rid of this unit. This is the turn I really needed to go, because if I don't break it now, I'm probably going to be stuck with it for a while, let's be honest. Plink away my skellies again. Ow, ow, ow. And then you, I'll never get up there to be able to catch him, so I might as well just kind of stand here and wait, I guess. Move out of his way, at least. Like that. We're not going to get charged, I can just see if I can catch anyone on the side. Okay, here, so we have equal, even with our upgraded skill, we're equal skill to Imperial Knights. Not particularly bad at fighting, as you might imagine. So 6 hits is good, and we've got better power in their defense now, so we do great damage. Hitting back, they get 3 hits, but because my defense I improved it to 6, it's now 3 over their power, so I save on 2+, and I benefit from the holy blessing we got, which means I re-roll my failures. So the only way I take a damage now is if I roll double 1. I don't. Okay, I just win by 6. That should be enough to show them the door. It is. Goodbye. That's probably the most dangerous enemy unit taken care of. No charges. Okay, he's gotten right up to our grill, which is understandable. This turn, I guess, is the one. Let's just buy a little bit of time with this. See where he's going to move. Having more units than the enemy is a great advantage because you can just use yours willy-nilly and force them to move and give away their positioning. Great, I now know where they all are, so I can just move through. I think there's... Can I get around them? I hope so. A bit close. So I can get there, but annoyingly it's going to wind up being a side. So I might Unholy Vigor this unit this turn. Yeah, I think that's what I do. Okay, here's the plan. When I Unholy Vigor this unit, that'll give me enough movement, presumably, to get round to their back. Also just going to get away here because we don't want to get killed. So we're going to get shot again. Please stop killing my skeletons. Oh, that's a lot of casualties. I need to heal them quite badly. Round. I can't. I'm stuck on their bloody unit. Just twist a bit more. It's still going to be a side charge. No, I think that's okay. It's extremely close. Whether or not that's... I think that's back arc for the most part. Worth a go. Can I do any better? If I kind of twist my way this way, gives me a bit more movement. I can go further forward. Yeah, sure. I think, okay, I'll go as far this way as I can. It gives me more movement. Okay, I can't see them now, so 1.8. So there you go, I can see them. And it's definitely enough, so let's just be a little bit safer about it. Definitely see them. Definitely rear arc. Perfect. Okay, we'll take that. Okay, other things we can do. We're now going to swing you around. I guess I could put them straight into the side of the captain now. Yeah, we don't have to care about them seeing us because they're going to get charged in a moment in the side. So I can just put myself there. Great, I can see them. I'm not going to get caught, and them hitting me there is inconsequential because I can intercept them. So perfect. Done. Charges, they're going to hit me. No chance. And I can hit these in the side. Confirm. They've used their Inspire Valor ability, which just gives them +1 combat resolution. They're going to be losing combats pretty thoroughly this turn, so I don't think that's a big a deal. You just, I don't know, walk up here. Maybe you want to hit those, and if they hold on, you can recharge them, I guess. Nothing he could do, he can't reach. And then for our spells, this is going to be interesting. Again, come over here just in case they hold on so you can side charge. What do we want to spell? We're not going to Unholy Vigor or anything because we don't need to move, so Greater Reanimate or Raise Dead. So really it's a case of, do I want to use Greater Reanimate to improve their stats again? The extra power doesn't help because I'm already 5. Becoming 6 doesn't get me 3 over their defense 4, so it's mathematically irrelevant. So the defense would help a bit because their power 3 and 4 to my 5, so getting up to 6 means the unit can't hit me on 2s. Not really worth it. I'm going to reroll my saves anyway. I won't take a lot of damage, so we'll leave them. Instead, we'll help this unit out, and I think it's pretty clear we're going to have to start using Raise Dead quite heavily, because we're down on guys. I could instead use Greater Reanimate, because it gives me D3 + 1, so 1, 2, 1, so 2 to 4, so enough to get almost all of my attacks and improve their statistics. That might be the better way to go about it. There's a slight chance I get a few less guys attacking, because if I roll a 1 or a 2, but the attacks I do throw will be power 4. Actually, it doesn't matter, because we're already power 3 up to 4 because of the charge, and they're not going to be hitting me, so it's pointless. So just use Raise Dead. Glad we figured that out. Yeah, max zombies, great. Basically back up to 4 strength. All the shots the handgun has done have been for nothing. They're better skill, but still 4s to hit, and then we're better power, so we immediately kill 6 of them. Win by a lot. They break because they've been hit in the back and been pretty badly hard. And then here, this is one. So Von Platens hit us every time. We get 3s to saves re-rolling, so we take no damage because of the re-roll. Perfect. We have better skill than... So the way the character works is he gets to hit us with her skill, but our skill is compared against the unit. So we don't have to worry about her superior skill getting in the way. So 10 out of 10 hits, fantastic. And we just instantly splatter 7 of them. They hit us back, they hit us once. which is no damage. Great. You don't roll a 3, so away you go. Now here, this is interesting. I could turn around, or what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this charge intentionally, because it means this unit can't shoot me, which is amusing. So I'm going to do that. The Skeleton Knights I'm going to leave because I'm going to use them to kill this annoying unit of handgunners. And instead I can have this unit Spearman babysit this in case it decides to rally. So I think that's okay. They're going to shoot me there, but I can heal it with Greater Reanimate, so don't worry. Here comes their shots, but I get 3 up saves that are reroll, so not liable to be a lot of damage. In fact, none. Okay, I'll then use you to come over here and eliminate these pesky handgunners. They rally, so I will have to do something about that. And there's going to be no need to raise dead there because they're basically full HP now, so just a few more. Well, if I charge, I don't get the extra attacks anyway, so I would actually prefer to raise dead here to have my guys back, because I came in with more guys than I now have, so 6 and 2 3s really. Might just save it, see how badly this combat goes if I need to start raising dead on this. I'm okay losing one of those, so yeah, I'm just going to put it on here, because the likelihood is, if I'm going to sustain damage somewhere, it'll actually be here, so let's make them a bit stronger. And you can't really do anything, can you? You can't even rotate to shoot that unit. You've been completely pinned in place by the enemy unit directly in front of you. So just stand there, I guess, Bowman. Okay, so our attacks, not great, but we do kill a couple of them. Yet they run, and I thought they would. Great, now because they've rallied, I'm going to charge them. And I'm going to execute this unit of handgunners. You can't reach them, so that's fine. They rally again. Okay, I'll have to do something about that. I could just put the bowman into them at this point, honestly. Return, shoot, and then charge them in the back. Cool, that's 3. Okay, this is easy. Yeah, I'm definitely going to put the bowman in. It leaves this unit somewhat free. I could Greater Reanimate now, or I could just Unholy Vigor them to get them around here to help. I've got no concern about this combat. Blasted Woods are going to slow us down. Here we go. So it's a... yeah, okay, so ordinarily what would happen is when you get 2 characters fighting each other, they enter a duel, but because they can't reach one another, there's a rank in the way, it's just going to be Isobel hitting the standard unit of swords. Hits once, kills one. Fantastic. Get Necromancered. And then the Spearmen, who don't get with their extra ranks, only get 2 casualties, so they could probably turn around. No, they still don't manage it. Bad luck, guys. Here, this is somewhat easier. Kill 3, they get 6 hits, which is no damage because of the reroll. They hold. How valiant of you, it makes no difference. And the enemy have given up because they're taking too much damage anyway. Great, so we took effectively no casualties. Okay, so the Skeleton Bowmen have leveled. I'll probably go with the max unit size because it just lets us get more shots, which is fine. You're fine. Their damage output is so woeful, the gold is worth more to me than a few extra shots, and you're all perfectly healthy to take gold, so there we are, making some cash. Okay, I think that's where we'll stop there. We've got our skeleton army on the way. Obviously, we're leaning on the knights quite a bit because you need some sort of one hammer unit to get around him inside, but otherwise these work where you can just attrition guys down and raise them. There is even better stuff we can do with magic that I'm hoping that we can see in a moment when Isabel does eventually level, so stick around for that. I do hope you enjoyed. This SOVL run will continue. There's more available on the channel, so if it's your kind of thing, do like and subscribe. It helps out the channel immensely, and I do really appreciate it, so thank you very much. If there's anything you particularly want to see for SOVL runs or other kind of content that you'd be interested in, then by all means do drop a comment down in the comment section. I do take the time to read and respond to them all, so you'll definitely be seen if that's your intent, or if you just want to chat, that's great as well. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.